Hey, Life Glossers, we're back. Did you miss us? It's been a while. And you know what's really cool, Hill? I'm another year older.
Happy birthday to you.
Thank you. 58. And yeah, I can't believe I actually can say that out loud and not like hit the desk.
No,
58.
it's not
Anyway,
over. It's
it's not
only
over, it's just
just
beginning.
begun.
It's only just beginning. So I am stopping and smelling roses as we march into this new year. I'm so excited. We have a lot to talk about today, and I'm feeling really foxy because I just got back from New York. And of course, you know what that means, a trip to Arte Salon to see the magnificent Gemma. So I can wake up and pretend that I just look like this and roll out of bed.
I love
Yeah,
it. And
not that it's
hair's such a hot topic, especially as we're getting older. Here's something that I realized as we were preparing for this episode. Do you realize that we are exactly the same ages of the Golden Girls? So,
oh, I want to be B. I want to be B. I like to be.
right. So,
Obviously.
right. So I was looking this up and I was like, wow, we are aging so differently now than we did then. And I did this little peruse of the internet and found if you put modern hairstyles on them, would it rewind the clock a little bit? Yes, to a certain degree. Or if you put their hairstyles on us, would it advance our age? And the answer is yes. Obviously, skin is different now. We're not smoking like we used to. We're taking better care of ourselves. So all those things come into play, but hair definitely
You know,
really makes a big difference. Hair can really impact how we look and we feel.
I have to tell you, yeah, it's like, your birthday comes along and other people want to have these big parties. I just want to go to the salon and get my hair done because I know I'll feel better and it'll make blowing out that candle a little less painful, maybe. I don't know. But when I was in there and bombing around New York, I did a little bit of shopping. I've got some fun things that I'm testing and trying. It just there was three topics that I was like, I have to call Hillary and we have to get on the podcast. We have to talk about this with everybody. And the three things that I want to cover with you today, and I want to know how you feel about all these. Going gray, the big controversy over going gray. Length. Do you cut? Do you not cut? All that bullshit, right? And the third thing I thought about was hormones in hair. And I want to share a little story, a super quick one, as we go through the products, because there's some products that I wanted to share that I use that I really like. I had a little bit of a hormone issue happening with my hair, and I talked to Gemma about it, and we fixed it and we solved it, and it was really simple. So I'll talk about that in a minute.
That's exciting.
So,
I'd also like to add one more thing that we've talked about is
mm,
salon versus in-home. Because as you know, I have been doing a 3-month experiment of coloring my own hair. I am
mm,
going in April and having her, kind of fix things. Not that I've destroyed them, but I wasn't able to get the color. I don't really know my volume. I don't know my tone. So for me anyway, I'm going to go in quarterly if she'll still have me and have her do my color. But I have to maintain it at home every 3 weeks because my hair's so white. So we can talk about that too. Because
yeah,
there are a
yeah,
lot of
I'd
women
like
at
to talk
home that are
about
like, I can't afford to go have my hair colored every 3 weeks. And I don't know what to do about this. Do I
yeah,
just
and
surrender?
I never surrender,
Never
Dorothy.
surrender.
I have a tip for that, and Gemma and I talk about that a lot at the salon. And again, it depends on how you're graying in your hair. So you know what? Let's just get into it. Let's just get into the whole thing. So first thing, well, why don't we talk about gray, the whole gray thing? So in the research that I've been doing and talking to hairstylists, and then especially talking to Gemma, she has so much interesting information about going gray and whatnot. And it's hereditary. It's genetic. I mean, this is something that look at your parents, or if if you're able to see how they went gray, and that's going to tell you approximately possibly, probably when you will begin to go gray.
Of course,
And
everyone in my family, premature gray, late 20s,
right,
30s. Hmm.
right. And I'm the opposite, you know? So I haven't started to go gray yet. I think we found one or two, and I haven't started to go gray yet. Interesting. You know, you would think by this point, whereas like my husband started going gray in his 30s and now he's like totally white and he's
Yeah,
younger than me. So
yeah.
it's just fascinating. He likes to blame me for that and he's probably right. It's my fault. But I think that it's such a personal thing and I don't think it's something to be ashamed of. Obviously, I think we're way past those days. I know for me, I can't wait to start getting some grays because my color's going to lift faster. I know. There's a little bit of color in here. My color's gonna lift faster and it's going to blend easier. And when you're blonde, it's a totally different subject than when you are a brunette or even a darker black hair tone. It depends on your base color, how you're going to move forward with this. For me, I really am looking forward to getting some of those grays because the color will lift faster, because it will be even blonder and brighter and just I'll be able to go longer in between my appointments with a little bit of gray because of the type of blonde I lift to. So that to me is a positive. I know to some other women, and I'm sure, we both have friends that it's devastating and they hate it, and especially with darker tones, they're constantly going in and getting their roots done every 2, 3 weeks. So, it's such a personal thing, isn't it?
It's such a personal thing, and you will probably notice that you might enjoy because if you're the way that you gray or go white, it will brighten you up. It's also going to be cool, and you like the cooler tones, so that's going to be
Yeah,
great for you. For
yes.
me, I loved when I started going gray, even in my late 20s into my 30s. It was wonderful because I could put a solid color on my hair, and the grays and the salt and the peppers would give me natural highlights. So I didn't have to spend on highlights for
Right,
decades because of my gray. It is
right.
different. Like for me, I don't look good as a cool blonde or an ashy blonde or in anything like that. It just make like you'll want to look at me and give me a hug and say, "Are you okay?" I just look
Are you
sad and
okay?
sick and a little like, yeah, like I need a cookie and a hug. So I
Okay.
have to stay more golden. I mean, I'm naturally a strawberry blonde and just
Me too, though. I've got a lot of strawberry in my hair, but yet I pull cool really easily,
I
which
do
is
too.
weird.
With color, I can either go really orange or
Yeah,
pink even, or I go
yes.
really ashy. So whenever I start a new relationship with someone that does my color, I always tell them, look, this is probably going to take us 2 or 3 times to get it right because everything that you think my hair
Right,
is going to do, it's not going to do. And they always
right.
think, oh, I hear that from everyone. And then there we are, the fourth time, it's perfect. So that's just how it
So,
goes.
you bring up an interesting point. Bringing new relationships, and I don't want to get too far off topic, but relationships with the person that does your hair. So I'm probably an oddity, meaning the person who does, my hair, Gemma, is someone I've seen for almost 20 years. We've been together for almost 20 years. She's given my kids their first haircuts. She does my husband. She does the whole damn family. And she's the only one I trust no matter where I've lived. I've flown to see her. I've driven, I've taken trains, planes. I've been literally like flown on my broom to see her. And I think that that's something that a lot of our listeners would be able to relate to is, maybe we should do a whole other podcast on this, but the people that you have in your beauty village, right? What do they mean to you and how do they impact you? Because we both have people in our beauty village that are really important to us and quite frankly, make us who we are.
Right. And at this time of life, it's a really exciting time of invention and reinvention and rediscovery. You're about to experience this. I have a girlfriend right now who has one child and she's just gone off to college. And a relationship had ended. Her daughter had gone off to college and she's managing beautifully, but she's kind of in that like, what am I doing now? Where is my value? What is my life about? What do I want the rest of my life to be about? And a lot of times because things are changing at the same time with how we look, rather than giving up like we used to at some points, it's an opportunity to be like, okay, so who am I going to be in this phase of my life? So it does bode for a little bit of analysis and an opportunity to say, what do I want that magical person to be like? If I'm writing my story here in this next
Mhm.
chapter, what does she look like? What does the heroine of my life look like in this chapter?
Yeah, yeah.
And
There's
that's where
another
things like
podcast
length and this and that. And of course, there are no rules. We know there used to be rules. The rules have gone out the window. We don't do that anymore. There are things that flatter, things that don't flatter, but then there are people that can get away with hair down to their waist in their 80s, and it's part of their, shtick. Super, super short, bright red, part of their vibe. So there's a lot of freedom there, but
Yeah,
it does say take some time and create your character.
yeah, I think that's such a cool point, Hill, because I know for myself, there's times where I'll even say, "God, should I go a little shorter? Should I?" And no, I think to your point, every time I want to say, "Okay, maybe I should do that." I look back at pictures in high school where my hair wasn't a short bob with a perm. It's terrible. I look terrible in short hair. And I had short hair. And I look back at those pictures and think, "Oh my God, that was terrible." And while I still have some hair on my head, I want to enjoy it and embrace it. And then we look at, you know, and I hate always referring to celebrity culture because it has literally nothing to do with us as real people walking this planet. But you look at the photos of them and you think, wow, they look really good. Wow, Um, so I don't know. I am still keeping my length. I am still keeping all my hair. I am still rocking it until I feel I don't want to, not what someone else says and not what society says until I say, okay, maybe it is easier to take care of. But I personally find, and I know you do, longer hair is so much easier to take care of. You can always toss it in a pony. You can always throw it into a little chignon, toss it in a little ballet bun. I find it to be way easier and way less product with long hair than I do short hair.
Oh,
Am I crazy?
I personally agree. I mean, my hair was platinum and short, short, short for years and years because it's so thick. It just wants to go like this all the time. So I was
Right.
having to get it cut every 2 weeks. Um,
Yeah.
not recently, within the past few years, I decided to go with a haircut that was more like here, like a long sort of a lob thing. And I
Which looked
found that,
great on you, by the way.
pardon?
It did look good. It looked really good on you.
Oh, thank you. You know what I started to notice was that you saw this a lot more. And this
You
right
think?
now is something I'm struggling to accept. So cutting my hair here, it was kind of like, wearing a short skirt if you don't like your knees. So cutting my hair here was like lifting up the skirt and being like, oh, now all of this is highlighted and this is what I'm working on. So pay attention. And here's
Yeah.
kind of a radical idea. If you are in a city or a town, I'm in Los Angeles, you're on the East Coast, but if you're in a city in a town that actually has like a good wig shop, go in and try on wigs. Try on the wigs you would never try
Oh,
on
yeah.
before. Put your
Oh, I
hair
love wigs.
slicked back, braid it up, do whatever. Go try on the crazy colors, the crazy cuts, and then even just subtle versions and take photos. Take photos
Yeah.
and check it out. You might be surprised before you commit. So it's a good way to
Yeah.
test
Oh,
drive a new look.
wigs are the best. Wigs are the best. 100%. Wigs, hair pieces. It's fun.
Yeah,
Hair should be as fun as makeup is. So, length, grays, let's touch upon hormones really
let's do
quick.
it.
Let's do it because it's something that probably needs its own separate
I think
episode
so.
with guests. I'd love to have a doctor come on and talk about it because we are, not doctors. Um, but for myself personally, on for me, the one thing I did notice was my scalp has become a little more sensitive and more reactive. So I recently used a detox shampoo that was highly fragranced. I won't name the name because I know it works for a lot of people. And I thought, you know what, I'm gonna do a little detox and get in there before I go in and have my hair highlighted. And I go in, I get my hair done 4 times a year because, as you know, I just do highlights and I like my own natural color and it's my look, it's my thing. It also is a lot easier only doing it 4 times a year than constantly having to, do it every 3 weeks. So I'm fortunate in that sense. I did notice after using this detox shampoo, I got little tiny red dots and dry, scabby flakes, and obviously, like, not good news on the scalp. So I started freaking out and I'm washing my hair. And I'm like, what is, oh my God, what is the, like, looking right here. And I was like, what is happening to me? And then I realized, the skin on the head is the same as on the face and on the body. So we go through all these hormonal changes and we're losing all this estrogen. We're losing all these, ceramides and cells and all this stuff that makes our skin really soft. And I'm constantly putting on lotions and creams. And we've talked about this. It's the same for your scalp. So I'm thinking, okay, no more detox shampoos, no more perfumey. And then I got a new shampoo, tried it, and it was gone the next day. Like, washed it, dried, gone. My scalp is perfect, gone, beautiful. So as we go into product next, I'll share what I used that really helped my scalp health and my hair health
Yes.
for me. I know it was hormonal. I mean, it had to be like, well, I blame everything on
Well, and
hormones, don't
you've been
you? But
changing your hormones recently, plus you were also sick.
yes,
You were
yes,
sick.
yes, you're
You were
right.
also
So
sick.
I did start taking some zinc, which was recommended to me, to help with the scalp and to help with the skin and whatnot, just short term. It's my understanding you might not want to stay on it for long periods of time, but I was run down. I had a really bad flu. I had the flu this year, like everybody else. First time being sick in 7 years, or sorry, 5 years, um, since the pandemic, and got the flu along with everyone else. And yeah, I think you're right, Hill. I think changing hormones, using a new product, being sick. So I just bring this up because I know some of our listeners, the same thing. All of a sudden, something changes. Instead of panicking, which, yeah, I did, I panicked because that's kind of sometimes what I do. But instead of panicking, take a look and say, what's going on with my health? Did I use something different? Did I just go through illness? Am I, what's happening? And it sounds so basic and simple, but I think I was so freaked out to just see all these like little red bumps and flakes. And I was like, what is wrong with me?
Of
Yes,
course.
it could have been the product, but I think it was a cyclone of beauty, like just exploded on my head.
Right.
So
Right.
anyway, but yeah, so hormones are a big thing. Oh my God, look at your hair. I
I know.
love that.
Well, this will all
That
fall
is
out. This is just me being lazy. I
so
was
pretty.
hoping that I'd have it like out and done and everything, but life didn't have that in store for us. So I figured, there we
Well,
go.
like I said, I just had mine done. So,
Yeah.
that's the only reason we're looking like this today. So, do you want me to show you the product
Yes, show me
that
your products because
fits
I'm on the
that
hunt. So while you gather your products, for me,
you're going to do your hair?
as a lot of our listeners may know, I just turned 50 last year. So I'm at just a
Mhm.
few months into being 50. And it's fun, it's exciting. But I've been in menopause for years now, and I started
Yeah.
perimenopause easily. Easily, if I think back in my very early 40s, for sure by 44. So it's been a long time with hormones and hair health, so much so that sometimes my color would take differently depending on what was
Yeah.
going on with my hormones. And initially, people didn't believe me. Then finally, I found someone that did. And we do have to adjust sometimes according to like what's going on with my hormones, which we'll get an expert on here to talk about that.
Oh,
Um,
I have someone.
yeah,
Yeah.
same formulas, totally different outcome. And I think truly it has a lot to do with the hormones. But my hair becoming dry and unruly. If any of our listeners out there have good suggestions, I'm definitely starting with some scalp treatments or even scalp oils because
Mhm.
we have to treat our scalp like we do the rest of our face. And I think for me, getting in there with an oil is going to be the answer.
Yeah. Yeah. I was laughing earlier because when you said, "Oh, I just turned 50," and I was laughing because I'm like, "Oh, okay. Well, right after
Yeah,
I said I
but
was
I
50."
started
Thanks,
menopause so much
Hill.
earlier.
Well,
So by that
we're
clock,
all
I'm like 70.
well, how about on days I feel 70? So there you go. Um, so Yeah, let me just really go through these super
Yeah.
quick so we stay you know, on time here. But so the product that helped my scalp the most, and it is not specifically designed for scalp health. It's
Right?
designed for just healthy hair. The Christoph Robbins products I have found to be extremely effective, but extremely gentle. They're
Oh,
very gentle. I find them really caring for more mature hair. And this hydrating shampoo with aloe vera, it's clear, it's lightweight, it's hydrating. And I don't know if it was the aloe that was in here or what it was, but my hair so shiny with so much volume, okay? Because
oh,
part of hormones was losing all that volume too. This product has saved my scalp and saved my hair because it's gentle, hydrating, it's safe for colored hair. I can't tell you
okay. We'll put
how
that in the
great
comments for
it is.
sure.
Yeah, especially if you have fine hair. Like I have a lot of hair, but it's fine textured. I need something that cleans but doesn't strip and doesn't have all those funky fragrances. So I love this one. I
Beautiful.
really love it. Yeah, yeah. And then I follow it up with probably the most reparative deep conditioner I have found that doesn't weigh my hair down, and that is the L'Oreal The Absolute Repair.
Really?
Chef's kiss. Doesn't weigh
Huh.
it down. It really is deep conditioning. It repairs the hair. It doesn't just add back moisture. So these two have
Okay, I'm gonna try
really,
those.
you
The
know,
deep repair at
and
least.
yeah, and then, you know, I can share the rest of this stuff on Instagram with
Okay.
everybody else, but I think I've talked about my overnight treatment that
Yep.
has saved my hair, the Kerastase, and then this is really the one product I is my desert island product, and that is, the Davines, the milk spray,
Oh, I need to
the,
get that.
this is the best. Use it on wet hair before blow drying, and then on dry hair to help with the flyaways, to give a little
Okay.
volume. Um, it's my one product. You don't need anything else. This is insane. So,
That's
you
what I'm
know,
looking for because I need
yeah,
hydration and I'm at the point of where
yes,
I'm like, I surrender. I'm about to just go back to my Shuumura because that's the only
yeah,
thing that seems to hydrate. That's why I'm going to the scalp. So rather than just trying to dump product on, I'm trying to really maybe put more hydration into the scalp because I'm noticing that I am really dry. And I love Shuumura, but it's an arm and a leg all the time. So,
yes, it is. And I love that I use some of the, there's a styling paste that I like from them as well, and I do love their products,
yeah.
but I'm telling you, this was the
Interesting.
savior for
Okay.
me.
The other thing
So
that I find for myself that I'm using a lot in my hair to tame flyaways, and
mhm,
we've had Adele on, is the Essential by Adele, just the
right.
lotion. It's like I will
Yeah.
take it because I have thick and somewhat coarse hair. I'll take it through, as
Mhm.
some of you guys may have seen me doing,
Yeah,
and after I rub it
yeah,
in on my hands, I'll just take it through sort of a little bit of the ends of my hair, and I'm careful with
yeah,
it, but it really does help. I mean, professionally, when I'm, working and on the times when I do have to do both hair and makeup, which is really more with civilians than celebrity. With celebrity, I'm pretty much just doing makeup. But with civilians, I'll get called in to do both. And I have a whole arsenal of styling products because what I like to use as an artist is different than what I want for my hair. But yeah,
right.
the great length debate is something else to talk about. It's so interesting. I saw photos of myself um, at some of the Oscar events, and I was working, um, and I was like, ah, all that long hair feels like it just drags me down, but I love having it long. So, does that mean I just wear it up when I'm working and I know I'm going to have, shots where I need to have it up? I just look bigger and I feel like it pulls my face down, but in real life, having it that long, I get a lot of compliments. So it's weird
Right.
right now. I'm figuring it
Yeah,
out. I want to hear from all of our audience.
yeah. I think there is a fine line, for me at least. When it gets too long, she'll cut it, you know, she'll take it
Yeah.
up a little bit. Mostly the face framing, the face framing layers have helped me a lot. Not just to accentuate bone structure for me, but to stop it from dragging my face down, from making me look gaunt. Um, it's also given some volume. So
Right.
ask for some layers in the front, people. I love babysitter hair too, as I call it, part of the middle, dead straight long, and I wore that for years. That look can age you. I will put that out there. If you don't get a few little layers in there in the front, the face framers, as I call them, the money shot hair light pieces, I think it can age you a little bit, drag you down, make you look a little tired. So I did succumb to that a while ago, and she kind of cleaned those up for me too. But I did notice it creates more volume for me too.
Right.
My hair looks thicker
Right.
and you know.
And there's a time to revisit. I mean, I noticed this with shoes the other day. It's like I used to love, like, I could easily wear like a sandal with a clunky heel or something that maybe kind of had like a little bit of a grandma vibe. And it was ironic because, I was young, in great shape, with a heel that, was maybe a little grandma, but it looked cool. And as I said, ironic, and it was fun. So I bought one for this summer, and I put them on and I was like, okay, are these just extra grandma because it's a designer that I don't normally wear? I said, or is the irony not ironic anymore? And is it time to revisit? I think the same thing happens with hair.
Yeah, I think if you already wore the look once, possibly pausing
Yeah.
before doing that haircut. I don't know. But then there's something to be said for the classic look. Classic cuts I think look great on everyone. I love a great bob. I think that looks so beautiful on so many women. Um, I think like you said earlier, Hell, I think we need to define who we are in our own personal story. What is our vibe? What is our look? Who are we? Because if you haven't figured out who you are by this point, you may want to spend a little bit more time on the couch doing it because, this is it, kids. You got to know who you are by now. You have to know what you like, what you don't like, who you are, what you stand for. Take the time to do it. And we're not just talking hair, but just in life in general. Take the time to do it if you haven't slowed down enough to write your own story, tell your own story. I think it's really important to do it.
Right. And what does that mean now? What does that mean in this chapter? And number one, above and beyond anything else, what makes you happy? What makes you feel beautiful? What hair makes you just feel, and it might not be hair for everybody, it's like layers of necklaces or very simple or whatever. What makes you
Right.
feel like, yeah, I love this, and do
That's
it,
right. Whether that's hair, no hair, short hair, long hair, colored hair,
whatever.
straight, curly, it really doesn't matter. The only person judging should be yourself,
Hmm.
you know? So everyone else can keep their opinions to themselves, quite frankly. Although, we like to give them freely, but that's coming from
That's
professionals.
coming from us. Yeah,
It's coming from love, people. It's coming from love.
right.
Um, but really, you should be happy with who you are, and love your hair. So that's our her story, hair story,
Well,
whatever story we're telling
and we want to
today.
hear yours. We want to hear yours. Also, I'd like to know from all of you, how many of your husbands weigh in and how does that affect? That's a whole
Oh
other topic.
God.
Because when it comes to
Oh,
men and hair, I mean, from Lady to Godiva to, Cleo to,
right.
Rapunzel. I mean, hair's a big deal and factors
Yeah.
hugely throughout the ages, and it's associated with beauty. And some men don't care. Some men really like it longer. I tend towards feeling like, well, if your other half has a really strong opinion, they're probably looking at you more than you're even looking at you. So maybe there's an in between, but I know for some women that's scandalous to even consider what he thinks. Um,
Right.
so it's a
Right.
that alone is a whole different topic because sometimes
It
we're
is.
dealing with another person, and sometimes, especially if you have children around this age that are just going to college, It's like a kind of a second honeymoon maybe for you guys. So, va 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 voom,
Maybe.
you know?
Well, and, in closing, I like your comment of it brings up that visceral reaction in a lot of women.
Yeah,
Um, you say, "Oh, what does your spouse think?" Or, "How about your husband's opinion?" Or your partner's opinion, or your better half's opinion.
yeah,
Instantly, women of a certain age, we have that visceral feminist reaction of like, "Who cares if they think they should have nothing
yeah,
to do with our. But I will tell you this, wear the shoe on the other foot, meaning if my husband came to me and said, "I'm shaving my head tomorrow," I'd be like, "If that makes you feel good and that's what you wanna do, go for it. But I really love your hair the way it looks now, and I
right,
really like it because I'm looking at you."
right,
So they're looking at me, and I want them to say to themselves, "Wow, she's beautiful no matter
right,
what she looks like, but
right.
that really turns me on," or "I really like your hair like that," or so you can look at it in 2 ways,
It's a
right? Like, it's not a
controversy.
big
It's a
business.
controversy. I mean, even when I'm
Yeah.
doing when I'm doing women's hair and makeup for, let's say, their weddings or for a special event or anything else, it's always kind of telling because sometimes I'll ask them, well, what is your husband like? What is your fiance like? And sometimes they'll look at me and they're relieved that I asked because I don't think it's like a big X to care. Um, and sometimes they'll look at me and they're like, "Who cares?" And I'm like, "Well, guess who's gonna be looking at you walking down the aisle? And you're creating a core memory for him too." So,
Yeah,
we ha
it
I
really
think there's
is. It's an
something there. I think
interesting.
we may have swung a little too far as far as, like, "It's my
Right.
hair, I can do what I want." I mean, I get it, but, I like it when I look across the room and he's got that little twinkle in his eye looking at me.
Me too.
So,
Me too. There's nothing wrong with it.
nothing.
Balance, people,
Yeah, we
balance.
married these people, we love these people. Ooh, look at speaking of
That's
gray,
right.
look at all that.
Oh, come on. It's so good. Give me some,
No, I
please.
mean, look, it is what it is. I just need to go and I just need to do it. But
I love it. Well, if you want to know, Life Glossers, some of the rest of the product that I have in front of me, check out us on Instagram at LifeGloss and check us out on TikTok and Facebook. We're out there. You can find us. You know where to find us. And send us a message. Reply, we'll
yeah, we
reply
wanna
to
know
you in
what
the
you think.
comments. Yeah, we want to know what you think and tell us some of your favorite products. What are you using in your hair? But we brought up a lot of interesting points. We'll continue this conversation with some more interesting points, especially on the hormone thing, which is such a part of beauty and not just hair, but skin, makeup, health, etc. So
Um,
until next time,
until next
stay
time,
glossy.
stay glossy.